Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar today. My name is Marnie Richardson and I'm a Senior Project Officer at Business and Skilled Migration Queensland. Before we begin, I'd like to sincerely thank Jeff Chan from Ascend Step and his team, notably Jack So, for organising this webinar. It's a great pleasure to be here to speak to you all. So today I'll provide an overview of the COVID-19 situation in Queensland, insights on the advantages of Queensland as an investment and migration destination, a high-level overview of government support during COVID-19, updates on our business program, and information on the main criteria of BSMQ business visas as it currently stands. I'll also look at some initiatives we undertake to support business migrants in general times. I'll then be available for a Q&A session at the end of this presentation with my colleague Cynthia Chen, who's also a Senior Project Officer and Business Case Officer at BSMQ. So to start off with, who are we and what do we do? So Business and Skilled Migration Queensland is a business unit of Trade and Investment Queensland and is also part of the Queensland Government. So we are the Queensland Government agency responsible for visa nominations. We have a long-standing agreement with the Commonwealth Government to nominate for business visas, including the permanent 132 visa and the provisional 188 visas. And these are the visas I'll be discussing today. We also nominate for skilled visas, and that includes the 190 skilled nominated visa, which is a permanent visa, and the 491 skilled regional provisional visas. Okay, so before we go into looking at business visas, let's have a look at what is happening in COVID-19, the COVID-19 environment in Queensland as it currently stands. So we're really lucky in Australia and in Queensland to have a very responsible government. They were a very fast-acting government and implemented restrictions very quickly. And many Australians did successfully follow the guidelines of staying at home and social distancing. We have managed to successfully flatten the curve. In Queensland, most patients have recovered from the virus now. So while our international and state borders are still closed, we're now in stage two of restrictions being eased. So this means now that there's unlimited travel within Queensland. 20 visitors are now permitted at households and at gatherings such as weddings and in public spaces, in pools, and in businesses such as cafes and restaurants and cinemas. Obviously, there's been industries and businesses that have been very hard hit due to the restrictions, including tourism, hospitality, and international education. But there have been many support packages made available by state and federal governments to assist householders and businesses, including business migrants if they meet criteria. So just one example is the Queensland state government providing a $4 billion package to support households and businesses. Of this, $500 million is being used to help workers who have lost their job to find jobs, retrain and find jobs in critical industries such as healthcare, agriculture, food production, transport, cleaning and mining. Small to medium enterprises receive a 3-month payroll tax holiday and a further 6-month deferral. So there are various other schemes and loans available for business owners via the state government and the federal government, which I won't go into here, but you can find out further information on this at australia.gov.au. Okay, so you can see from this slide how Australia is comparing to the rest of the world in numbers of COVID-19 cases and how we are flattening the curve. You know, from this slide, it's clearly happening. And you can see how we compare against the US, for example, and other countries in Europe and Latin America. Okay, so let's move on to a business program update. BSMQ may look at opening the business program in July 2020, but that's only if we can receive some limited quota from Home Affairs, and that's yet to be confirmed. Our total quota or nomination allocation for the next financial year will be announced in October 2020. So if we don't receive limited quota in July to open up, then we will receive our full quota in October 2020. There was a business program review that was implemented by Home Affairs. There were going to be some changes in the business program. However, those review changes or recommendations are not going to be implemented at this moment because of the COVID-19 situation, and are going to be implemented at a later date now. Queensland may introduce criteria changes, so BSMQ is looking at some changes to the business program. We will announce those. Those are just being worked through at the moment and are subject to approval, but of course we will announce any changes before the program opens. We're also looking at a new quota management system. In the past, we've just been assessing applications as they come in, which has meant that we run out of quota before the end of the financial year. So our business program quota ran out in December 2019, but with this new system, it will be a month-by-month system, and hopefully that will mean that our quota lasts for more of the financial year. Okay, so despite these challenging times, the advantages of Queensland still remain. As I mentioned, we do have a responsible and stable government which has dealt swiftly and effectively to COVID-19. So we've successfully managed to flatten the curve at this time. We have a diverse range of key industry sectors for investment opportunities, obviously some of which have been affected currently. But traditionally, these have been food and agribusiness, mining and resources, tourism, international education, health and knowledge industries, and urban development and infrastructure. Post-COVID-19, Queensland will be recovering investment in areas such as manufacturing and advanced manufacturing, in innovation and innovative products and services not yet in Queensland, in the digital and IT space, in mining equipment and technology, or METS, and also in renewable energy. There will also be a strong focus on encouraging and incentivising regional investment in migration. Another important point to know about Queensland is that we have had a very stable economy for many years, and we are the most diversified state in Australia, with 5 major cities of between 100 and 200,000 people. So there is a lot of options for regional investment and migration. We're connected by efficient infrastructure, and we have 6 international airports in Queensland and many shipping ports as well. We have an affordable cost of living with lower housing prices compared to eastern states and lower setup costs for businesses. We're an international gateway to the Asia-Pacific region. We've always been pro-business, and we're known as the Sunshine State, with an exceptional climate of 300 days of sunshine every year. Queensland also has world-class educational institutions, including 10 highly ranked universities, such as the University of Queensland, for you and your children. So I just really want to make the point that Queensland welcomes business migrants, and we will do so in the future. So let's now dive into the main criteria of the business visas of our program. Okay, the first one is the 1 through 2 business talent visa. So this visa is very much for high caliber self-made entrepreneurs. So this visa is a permanent visa, which makes it very attractive. There's an age limit, which is 55 years of age. And what an applicant would need to do is invest at least $1 million into a business. It can be a new business or it can be an existing business, and also invest $500,000 into settlement costs. So that could be something like a house. They do need to have a successful business background with a high level of turnover prior to application, and that turnover is at $3 million. Okay, this next visa is the 188 Provisional Visa, Innovation Visa. Again, you need to be under 55 years of age to be eligible for this visa, but you also need to meet a points test of 65 points. Oh, sorry, 65 points. And, you know, you get points by things like your age, your turnover, years of business experience, and so on. You need to, basically the threshold for this visa is lower. The investment threshold is lower. So the asset transfer of this visa is $800,000, and that includes investment of $200,000 into a business, a pre-existing or a new business. But that is very much the minimum. Usually our business migrants are investing, you know, a lot more than that. Okay, the third visa I'd like to look at today is the 188 Investor Visa. Again, it's points tested, and again, the applicant needs to be under 55 years of age. Now, this visa is an investment visa, so an applicant would need to invest $1.5 million into Queensland Treasury Corporation bonds for a minimum of 4 years before being eligible for permanent residency. There's also an asset transfer requirement of $750,000, and that can be used for schooling, for example, or to buy a house. So the total asset transfer for this visa is $2.25 million, and an applicant would need to live or intend to reside in Queensland for 2 years out of a 4-year period. Okay, so the final stream I would like to look at today is the 188 Significant Investor Stream. So the advantage, or I guess the attractive quality of this visa, is that there is no age restriction. So an applicant can be 18 or they can be 80 years old, as long as they meet the health requirements. And the residential requirements are a lot lower as well. So an applicant only needs to reside in Queensland for 40 days a year, and they can also swap the main applicant with their spouse, but the residency requirements are higher if they do that. Now, with this stream, applicants need to invest $5 million into managed funds in a framework that is laid out or set out by Austrade, and they're listed here. Okay, so this slide looks at what the top sectors are for the 132 and the 188 Innovation Visa. So what are migrants investing in? So a top area is construction, which is property development. So in very, very popular business is residential property development and also commercial property development. The next area is wholesale, and that is basically export businesses. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities to export a lot of different products from Queensland, including agricultural products such as seafood, sugar, fruit, vegetables, grains, processed food, for example. Then the third most popular area is accommodation and food services. So a popular business investment has been our business migrants coming in to buy hotels, resorts. Some of them have been really major resorts, such as the Sheraton Mirage up in Port Douglas, the Palazzo Versace on the Gold Coast, and they come in and they renovate them and then run these hotels and resorts. Okay, I also want to touch on some Queensland initiatives that we've undertaken for business migrants. This was a settlement information seminar we held for Mandarin-speaking business migrants in September last year. So what we do is we invite guest speakers such as lawyers and accountants to really advise on how to set up a business successfully in Queensland, employee considerations, tax considerations, and then we also speak on how to successfully move from a provisional to a permanent visa. We also have a mini expo where we invite key groups such as police liaison officers and other councils that can help a business migrant settle in successfully to Queensland. We also undertake investment and export roadshows for business migrants who already have their visa and they're looking at exploring their second or third investments in Queensland. So this one went to the regional area of the Wide Bay Burnett, and we joined with the TRQ regional team and also the local councils and the mayors to host 40 business migrants, investors, migration agents to tour the region to showcase the region's capabilities and investment opportunities. So we took the attendees or the delegates to many different farms such as strawberry farms, macadamia nut farms, engineering firms, and a number of other different visits. We did have some very quick outcomes. A 132 business talent visa holder from Vietnam is looking at purchasing a farm in Harvey Bay. And there's also another migrant interested in property development and farm technology in Bundaberg. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening today. If you're interested in finding more out about the Queensland program, please take a look at our website, and that is at migration.queensland.gov.au. We also have a Facebook page, Migration Queensland, a Twitter page at Queensland Migration, and we also have a Weibo page, weibo.com/Queensland Migration. So thanks again for your time, and I will be available at the end of this webinar with my colleague Cynthia to answer any questions that you have about the business program. So thanks again, and hope to meet you one day in Queensland. Thank you very much.